and welcome to the next installment of the Dayz Spotlight. And this week we are shining the spotlight on the one, the only Renee, otherwise known as Barely Infected. Mate, how are you this morning or this evening for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's evening. I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
Not too bad at all, mate, other than sleeping in and being a bit late to get here, for which I do apologise, mate. It's hard to find good people to work with these days, isn't it?
Yeah, no worries, man. I can imagine. I'm not so much of a morning person anyway, so.
I have to be a morning person, mate, with a family and a kid. I got no choice but to be
Yeah.
up early. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into this, my friend. I've been looking forward to this one massively, and I have to say, one of the things that didn't surprise me at all is the sheer volume of viewer questions we got this time around. I think you've actually got the most viewer questions of anyone so far.
Oh, really? That's pretty crazy.
Now, it says a lot about you, mate. That the people all that you've got a very, very good reputation in the community, friend.
Yeah, well, I'm glad about that. I think that's what everyone wants, right?
It is. It is. Okie dokie then. So let's get straight into this, mate. The very first question is, how old are you?
I am 30 years old.
30 years old or 30 years young. And a family? You got
Yeah.
missus, got kids, anything like that?
Yeah, I got a girlfriend for 10 years now, so it's like a long time already.
And let me guess, mate, she's probably quoting Beyonce to you now. You like it? You should have put a ring on it.
Well, I'm not, we're just staying together. I'm not getting married or anything. Just
Yep.
keep it easy.
Mate, I'm
simple.
18 years this August with my partner, and we're still not married.
Well, do you want to?
Yes, eventually. But our idea of doing it is something like a really tacky Vegas wedding with Elvis underneath the Vegas sign or something along those lines.
All right. Big dreams.
Yeah. And what do you do for a living, mate, other than YouTube?
Well, I don't do YouTube for a living. I work full time as as an analyst, IT analyst at a retail company, and we analyze like price data and stuff, and I manage the systems basically, and it's quite good.
Okay. Now, this was also a viewer question, wanting to know. Let me just find it here. What other hobbies you have outside of gaming?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What other hobbies do you have outside of gaming?
Oh yeah, well it's mostly gaming to be honest, but I also I play guitar, as you know. So I make music as a hobby, and at the moment I bought a house, so I'm like a lot of do it yourself, right? In the house at the moment, I really enjoy that, and well, for the rest, it's just hang out with friends, I guess, and going out to the pub and drink a few beers, and just the easy life, I guess.
Yep.
I always enjoyed company and just having fun, drink some beers and make some music, that kind of stuff.
Drink some beers.
Going to concerts as well.
Drink some beers. I think you've got a drinking problem, Renee. I think you said drinking beers about 4 times.
Well, I guess I wasn't ready for this question.
The first step to admitting your problem is admitting you have a problem.
I guess I'm not drinking right now.
Because you hang around Renee with all this stripe pipe. Sorry, because you hang around with FT, isn't all this stripe pipe? He's infecting you, isn't
he? Well, he likes a beer. I like a beer. That's fine, I think. It's not like we're drinking all day.
Is it? Is it, Renee?
Yeah.
Mate, what is the origin of your name, Barely Infected?
Well, I started started playing Dayz in November or October 2012, something like that. And at some point I decided I wanted a YouTube channel, and I was playing with a group of friends, and I wanted to play. I didn't want to start the YouTube channel alone. I thought that was a little scary, so I decided to do it with friends. And in the end, we set the assignment like, okay, think of a name by tomorrow. And a friend of mine called Oleg, he also made my channel design. He came back with slightly infected or barely infected, and it was unanimously chosen that it was barely infected. So that's how the name came to be. The name of a group, and in the end, the name of my channel.
There you go. I had no idea it was that complicated. It's good
Is it complicated?
It's for a lot of people, it's usually just something quite simple. Look at me, Boyd73, the most unoriginal name ever. Whereas yours was a bit more of a group project sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. It wasn't really. It was more of a friend project, but it ended up to be the channel as it is today, I guess.
Okay, so who or what got you into gaming in the first place? Do you remember?
Well, I think my dad had a computer at home, and I was very little. I was like 5, 4. I don't remember the age. I always say 3, but my dad says, "No, you weren't 3." But we had like this MS-DOS computer, and at some point he went to like a computer market or something, and he brought me back like floppy disks, and I could play video games on that, and a couple of these games were Pac-Man and Space Invaders. I always think that was pretty cool because these are actually like the first games that are really being developed, right? So it's pretty cool for me to start with that, especially probably like 10, 15 years after release of those games.
Sweet. What's your favorite game of all time?
Dayz.
Yep.
It's easy, but if I have to choose another game, I don't know. It's a couple of games. I really was into Left 4 Dead at some point. I'm always into a specific game, and then I move on to a next game, and then I move on to a next game. And at some point, Dayz came by, and I always played Dayz and some other games at the side. So Dayz it is, I guess.
Okay. And what was your very first PC that you ever owned?
I think we had a PC at home, and I think it was a Pentium. I was always playing on the PC of my dad, and he bought a couple of them. And I think when I finally had one of my own, it was a Pentium 3000 megahertz or something like that. I don't remember the video card. So I played games like Unreal Tournament and Return to Castle Wolfenstein on it.
And have you ever had a console? Do you remember your very first console?
No, I was mainly always a PC gamer, and at some point when I was 16, 17, I bought a Wii, but not really.
A Wii was your very first console?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I had a Game Boy, if you consider that a console.
I do. I think nearly everyone listening will consider a Game Boy a console.
Okay, and then a Game Boy it is. I think I got a second-hand one when I was 12 or something.
Let me guess, Pokemon?
Yeah, one of the games, Pokemon. I bought like this like massive set. Someone wanted to get rid of it. I guess he was sick of his Game Boy and played games like Tetris and I don't remember. I played Pokemon Silver, I think.
Yep. So why did you start making videos?
Well, making videos is something I never really like aspired. I wasn't really into YouTube before I started my YouTube channel myself. I barely touched it. But when I started playing Dayz, you get curious of all the content, what is out there, I guess. Obviously, there is this dude. Maybe you know him, Frankie on PC.
I think I might have heard of him.
Yeah, but he's not the only one. I watched a couple of them, but the main drive for it was, with my friends, we had adventures, and I was always telling stories about them, and we actually had this OneDrive, and we saved like notes and diaries and camp locations and vehicle locations in there. So if someone would get online, he would get the latest information about all the vehicles on the server in this single like spreadsheet. So I think the stories was more the drive for it for me.
Not surprising, mate, that you're another person who was influenced by the great Frankie on PC. Love him or hate him, he definitely, in the Dayz community at least, he definitely influenced so many of us to want to start doing it ourselves. So what is your best video? Well, not best, what's your favorite video that you've ever created?
Well, that's a tough question. I think everyone who creates videos think that's a tough question. There's a couple of videos that are close to my heart. Like, a recent one is Journey Through the Forest, for example. An older one is Space Adventure, and like one in the middle, one that is very special encounter-wise, is probably like a radio ambush.
Yep. Okay.
Because radio ambush is like, I contact someone on the radio, I try to, I go and meet him, and I get ambushed on the spot, and I make it out alive miraculously. And I actually got shot unconscious, and when I woke up, this guy I was talking to on the radio all this time, he was bringing me back up. So that was pretty epic.
Huh. And what recording software do you use?
I use Adobe Premiere Elements 15.
Yep.
Oh no, that's editing software. Recording software is OBS Studio.
OBS Studio?
Yeah.
Are you not a Shadowplay fan?
No, I can't split my audio files. So OBS Studio you can.
And that's something you've been talking to me about. So anyone listening, and if there's any problems with the audio, great Renee has offered to help me out with explaining to me about splitting audio tracks and then being able to adjust the volumes. And it's all stuff that's very, very complicated for me, but he's aware of my shit recording quality and is trying to make it better for you all. So everyone, big round of applause for Renee.
We're definitely going to fix that, Boydie. That's fine.
You could tell it frustrates him.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I think I'm a little bit of an audio guy, maybe, because I also make music, record music. Yeah. I guess I'm not so, I'm not super into audio, but I guess doing the music and making the videos, it brought me more into the audio world, I guess, and I pay a little bit more attention to it than the average person, maybe.
Yep. So, did you play the mod?
Yeah, I started on the mod in October 2012, I think, and I started playing it after being told by a friend that that would be a game for me. I put his comment aside for a couple of months, and after that I decided to try, and I was hooked.
As I said with FT, once you get bitten by the bug, pretty well screwed. The Dayz bug, that is.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's if you like the concept, I mean, I was always a little bit into the survival genre, and I guess Dayz just fitted in with that perfectly.
What is it about Dayz that makes you love it so much?
Well, I think the randomness, the no rule game. The fact that you just spawn somewhere and you have nothing and you need to, gear up and you need to survive, you need to scavenge. And you can run into someone every moment and you hear shots ringing in the distance and you got to make the decisions. What I really liked when I saw the first video of Dayz, there was this guy and he was running an electro and he was like, oh, there are shots in the distance and what should I do? Should I approach? And he came across his dead body with the flies, remember, in the mod?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, oh, I'm gonna loot this body, but maybe someone still has a shot on this guy. So I really liked the thought process and the complicated and the fact that he was scared and that he moved on and that he met a guy and that the guy was friendly and that there was voice communication and that you could help your player or that you could decide to shoot him without any consequences. I just really like the randomness and no rule. This gives like some sort of automatic like power struggle. If someone has an automatic weapon and you only have a pistol, you might think twice about approaching the guy. That kind of stuff. I just really enjoy the thought process and the complicatedness of it, I guess.
Why do you still play it?
Well, because I haven't got bored of it yet. I think there's, I still meet like new survivors every day and survivors. I mean, surviving with random people is just something unique. And every time you play, you enter a different situation, and that is just awesome to me. I mean, I can make all my videos are different. You can see it in that kind of stuff. I mean, there's always a similar vibe to it. Obviously, a similar theme, I have to say. But
I think for players like yourself, myself to a lesser extent, who Dayz is more about the interaction than just the action. Dayz's got a longer shelf life. Because at the end of the day, if you're a PvPer, you can get PvP playing Player Unknowns, playing Armour, King of the Hill, H1Z1 Battle Royale, all that sort of stuff. But with Dayz, PvP is still PvP. But if you're more into the interaction side of it, there's no end to the realm. You've only just got to look at some of the other wonderful content creators out there as well. It seems nearly every week I'm seeing a video from some of my favorite YouTubers, which is completely different to anything I've seen before, in the way of some random interaction with a bunch of people, and the journey they have is just so out
unique.
there that you just wonder, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many scenarios possible that it's like impossible to get in the exact same situation.
Yeah. So if you could add anything to the game, what would it be and why?
I think I always said that I would like to see like rivers and little streams in Chernarus, and I think that would be just epic. And they did something like that, right? In one of the status report, I think Sunrack or maybe someone else was the western part of the map, like that river that is made all the way that it goes downhill into the sea, and they're like prototyping something like a streaming river. It's not going to be super perfect, they said, but I'm looking forward to that. It's a way out.
Who's your favorite Dayz content creator? You can have several if you wish.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick favorites, but I watch a lot of different people like Running Mans and Super FT LOL, Camp Can't Run, Cyborg Lizard, Tic Tactical, maybe Nate's. I watch your videos, so the Spotlight. So I like, I guess I consume everything that is alike. I don't really watch the action channels only. I just don't enjoy that as much.
I'm the same. Like I sub to this is not having a go at this guy in any way, shape, or form, but I sub to Deadly Slob, but I sub to him for his weekly question video that he does. I find it quite interesting to hear his views on the game. Plus, every now and then he just released another one recently. He does like his Survivor series, or he does an interaction, because PvP is PvP. You've seen one, you've seen them all pretty much. It's the interactions which I crave, and the last channel that really blew my mind was Danny Boy. When I discovered his channel, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Someone's doing something. Just the first time I saw it, unfortunately, I'll never get that feeling again. But every single video, I still find myself, my breath speeds up a bit when you're thinking, is he going to do it now? Is he going to do it now? Is he not going to do it? You just don't know. It's amazing when you find a good channel like that.
I really like him as a person. But these videos of him, I can't watch them, to be honest. I think I watched twice of them, but they
nice guy. I can't watch the horrible, psychopathic murderer.
No, they really hurt my soul. It's the same with that Daniel guy. I can't watch them. It's just
that's hilarious. There you go, Danny boy. You don't have a fan in Renee when it comes to your video. He likes you as a person. I really like him as a person. Your videos.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me at all, mate. It just reinforces my opinion of you as to what sort of person you are. The status reports, do you read them, and if so, what do you think of them?
Yeah, I read them all, mostly quite fast after they put them up. If they put them up, I schedule some time, or I usually, within the same day or maybe the day after, I read them. And, I think they're quite good. I enjoy them. And sometimes there's a little much text, so you need to, make sure you don't get distracted, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're in the new, fast living world, maybe. So, I don't know. I do read them. I do enjoy them. The one is more interesting than the other. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the things that people ask questions about, like base building and the new player controller and burying bodies and content to be added, chests and that kind of stuff, like stashes. It's all in the status reports. It's all been mentioned somewhere, and I think there's just so much information, and some of it has been shared so long ago that it might be a little bit it's hard to grab back to. When is this mentioned again? I remember something like that. You see it all the time on Reddit. People are referring back to something that a developer once said, and they cannot really find the source. So,
fair enough. You kind of said it without saying it, but sometimes they can be quite long, and you really got to settle down and read through it. Sometimes even a couple of times to get everything to fully sink in. Yeah,
and for those kinds of reasons, like the videos of Septic Falcon, he talks through them, and he mentions the important stuff, and I mostly read them now, but I used to always get his channel at the side and just read the status report, and then after a couple of days I would watch his video again to double digest it, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's a tip if someone has trouble doing that kind of stuff. It might be worth checking out his status report updates, because that's actually quite useful, I think.
Yeah, I watch his as well. Kent's as well is another one I watch.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be interested as to what you say here, if anything at all. What is your biggest gripe with Dayz? What really pisses you off the most?
Um, that's a little hard. I'm not a lot of pisses me off. I think everyone gets pissed off if they die every single like 7 times in an evening. Then you're like, I'm gonna quit the game and maybe boot it up tomorrow again. But that's just, I think DayZ can be very frustrating at times. But on the other hand, I think my biggest gripe, I don't know. I actually was in a bus 2 times this week, and 2 times I got out before the bus stood still, and I died 2 times. I think that's that's a recent gripe, I guess. But I don't think I have too much, to be honest. It's just all work in progress, and I'm just looking forward to the future. I mean, there's always little things, but biggest gripe, I think, it's hard to say. It's every month it's something different, I guess.
What are you looking forward to the most in DayZ?
I think the obvious answer is modding, like the new maps that will be in the game, because I know churners with the back of my hand, right? So it would be nice to get lost again sometime. I think that would be awesome.
Has your style of play changed at all? If so, how and why?
I'd say so, but very little. I think at the start of the game, I think I was a little bit like everyone, like investigating and maybe wanting to have that first kill. And at some point I was even rolling with this massive kill on sight group, which I obviously grew out of. I don't do that stuff anymore. I just, because I think it doesn't fit with me. I don't like to play that way, so I'm just not going to do that. And I think, it's also easy in the game to run after shots, for example. Like if you hear shots in the distance, You're like, oh, they've been shooting, I can kill them now. So it's easy to like make up like an excuse to go and kill someone, for example. It's like, you can always figure something, like he's in a military base, or he's been shooting, or he looks dangerous, he never stands still, he must be looking for someone. You can find like endless reasons of people to kill people. Sometimes you hear it in videos, you're like, that you hear someone say the reason why they killed a specific person. They were looking my way. I'm like, is that a reason to kill someone? It's just, it's just, and everyone can play however they want, but it's just not how I want to play. I just want to, I think I just, if I'm more of an observator lately. So if there's a fight happening, I try to find out by looking at them who's the guilty one. So I think I'm not completely there yet, I think, but I try to, and you never really know what's going on, right? But you can like start and guess what's going on, or what's the story behind a specific encounter you come across. I think that's more what I'm going after lately.
So what are you most looking forward to in regards to modding once it's opened up? That's also a question from Judge Ned. What do you want to see when modding is in?
When modding comes in, I think we will see a lot of different like game modes, even old school game modes like come out, like Epoch and all those kind of stuff. And
what excites you the most, though? What are you most looking forward to? Kind of mentioned it before. You said the new maps.
Yeah, the new maps, obviously, but also, I guess, maybe a more hardcore survival experience. I think that would be cool, because at the moment, it's hard for me to not survive. And I think it would be nicer if it would be a little bit tougher to survive. I think that would be awesome.
Me personally, I want to see a server where it pushes you to have to do more of the game mechanics of the game, such as hunting, such as horticulture, to not to the point where you're scrabbling to plant a single crop and all the rest of it, but less available food, and still make it. There's an abundance of animals, an abundance of seeds and things like that, but you've got to take the time and the effort to invest in using those sources of food and so on.
And I think some of the best experience I've had is like, that I've been running around like the map, and the only thing I had was a sporter with one round or a bow, and I actually get into that specific encounter with a bow, and the other party is also shooting single chamber because they didn't find a magazine yet. And I think if you've been playing for so long, it's just more tense and there's more at stake when you finally have that rare gear that is, very little compared to what you find right now in the game in the first hour.
How many people do you reckon they should have per server?
I think, I guess Dayz could benefit from a little more population than right now, like maybe 80, 90 maybe. I think 100 is probably overdoing it a little bit, because I think it's also part of the game that you go into a town and there's no one there. But, if you put many more players into the server, then you will also get more people who are at the airfield. And it's, if there's like always someone at the airfield and there's like, no way for me to get gear because there's always squads rolling around, I'm just not going to the airfield anymore. It's as simple as that. I would play on it. I would just not do that kind of stuff. I think that's also important to understand, that the military areas will be like flooded with all these people trying to go there.
Fair enough. We are now into the rapid fire section of the interview, mate, where I need you to say the first thing that pops into your head when I read out each of these questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Favorite long range weapon?
Winchester.
Least favorite long range weapon?
VSS, does it count?
Favorite auto weapon?
A M4.
Least favorite auto weapon?
The rack.
KOS?
No.
First person or third person?
First person.
Favorite server?
Dayz Underground, US or EU.
Favorite place on the map?
Bore.
Public or private?
Private.
And that favorite place on the map question, I know what you would have said a while ago was Alta, but they went and ruined Alta for you, didn't they?
Yeah, well, a little bit. I think Bor is a great town. I would always go by Altar. I'll take Altar. It's always been great. They still have this little rock formation, but it's a little in the woods close to Gorka, like a smaller one.
Okie dokie, mate. Now we are into my favourite part of the interview, the viewer questions.
All right.
The very first question comes from Johnny Rotten, or the Deaf Skype. It's not really a question per se, but he wants you to play a song for us in the interview. He says you're really talented. Love, Johnny.
I appreciate that, Johnny, but I'm not gonna play a song right now. I will make sure I will play more in the future in my videos.
You need to upload more to your Soundcast, mate.
Yeah, I will.
Judge Ned. Now, Now, I've already said the question that he asked, but he also has, it's a bit of a statement. He wants you to tie Brian up and put a sack over his head if he hasn't added craftable expo bolts by the next time you meet him in game.
Yeah, I don't think I will do that.
Mr. Sill wants to know what keeps you coming back to this game and how did this all start for you? So we pretty much covered that question for him. And he also comments, also nice crossbow in real life.
Yeah, we've mentioned it already, right? Thanks, Sill.
FT, will you join me on the Base Bandit series?
No. That's easy, right?
That was an easy question.
It's not my thing. I don't understand why he doesn't make a Survivor series. I'll happily join.
He also wants to know, is it true that as part of a DayZ theme night with the missus, you dress in a very revealing burlap sack?
No. No.
Wolfgeist comes in with a few questions now. In an ideal world, what dream feature would you like to see in DayZ, not including anything slated for beta or 1.0?
Well, we've already said rivers, but I guess that's already half been planned. I think this is a very hard question. I'm just very happy with how the game is currently progressing. And I think any like survival mechanic is pretty awesome. Like the radio is awesome, the vehicles are awesome, bicycles are awesome. I think a lot of the features that they are currently adding are just great. Anything they add in the game gives a new dynamic to the game, and I think that whole new experience every time the patch comes out, I think that's the best I like about DayZ. There's new dynamics going on, and I can't name a specific feature, I guess.
Okay. Do you think survival is too difficult currently in DayZ? What level of survival would you like to see?
No, I think at the moment it's easy. I think I said it before, really hardcore survival, I think that would have my preference because that is just more of a challenge. And I think also the encountering players will be even more tense when the loot is very scarce. So I'm actually looking forward to something like that.
Yep. Do you like to do any bushcrafting stuff in real life?
I'm not really doing that at the moment. I am interested in that. I like to go like camping. I've always, go in the summer 2 weeks away with a tent, just to some vacation destination, and we would stay there without internet and that kind of stuff. And I always like that, cooking on gas and that kind of stuff. So I would like it, but at the moment I've just haven't really got any experience with it.
Yep. Have you ever shot a gun? Have you ever shot a gun in real life? And if so, do you enjoy shooting?
No, I don't think I can say so. In the Netherlands, guns are pretty much illegal unless you have like some sort of certificate, like a hunting certificate or that kind of stuff. I have obviously been to the fair play and just shot a gun for at some stand, but I don't think that counts.
Okie dokie. The next question is from Demon Groover. Hello, Renee. Whenever I watch your videos, I'm amazed how cool and calm you seem in a firefight. Are you panicking like the rest of us, or are you just that chilled out a guy in real life? Great videos, by the way.
Thank you. I am very panicky. You can see that in my responses, like when I get shot, you see my mouse twist, right? Like just boom.
Yep.
You just see it twist, and that's a lot of other people don't have that. People like FT and Running Man, they're actually less on edge than I am in this encounter. You always if I play with them, they often rush into a specific encounter, and I'm often the last one alive because I'm just a little bit scared to move in, and just I'm just sitting at a tree and scoping in, and obviously I try to help them, but I'm not very effective at it, I think, sometimes.
I don't know, mate. I've seen some absolute ball of videos. I think it was that one where FT said you were on fire. You were just wrecking people left, right, and center.
Yeah, that's an exception.
Yachi Abinai asks, does your significant other play video games? If yes, does she play Dayz with you?
No, she doesn't really play video games. She actually is very interested in Dayz. She's also very supportive to my channel. So yes, we have played Dayz together, but she's way too scared to play this game. I think she's just constantly screaming behind the computer. It's like I recorded her once, but my microphone is like completely overloaded like most of the times. So I just, in the end, removed the footage.
Yep. Molly Magoo wants to know, what is your second favorite game if you have one?
I think that's a very hard question. I can name a couple of games that I like. I can't name a second favorite one. I used to like this very platformy game called Electronic Popple. It's like I don't know. Just look it up if you like it. I like the sound of it. There is I really enjoyed Left 4 Dead, Chivalry, Medieval Warfare. I'm a little bit into Rocket League now, but I wouldn't consider that my favorite game. And another survival game I really like, maybe that's interesting to people, is State of Decay. I really enjoy that game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, that one.
Yeah.
Got a fairly decent storyline in a novel way, you know. If your main character dies, there's another one there, and
base
kind
building.
of morph into that person.
Yeah, I was like a couple of hours into the game, and my main character died, and I was like, no, I'm gonna start over.
Yeah. Yep, you don't want to lose that main guy.
No.
Okay, Uncooper comes in with, if you were to tune into a radio station in Dayz, what songs would you hope to hear? I reckon you'd love to hear Queen non-stop, wouldn't you?
I actually don't like Queen so much.
I know, that's why I said it. I think you're the only person I know who does not like Queen.
Oh, yeah, well, not everyone can like Queen, I guess. No, I think, I'm personally, I'm really into to punk rock, like bands as Rise Against and Offspring and that kind of stuff. I don't know if it fits the survival theme entirely, but I also kind of like the ambient music, the ones that I use in my videos. There's this guy called Joachim Heinrich, and he's like this German guy, and he makes like these awesome soundtracks I often use in my videos. And I think I would probably prefer him to be on the radio all day.
He also says people tend to focus on aerial vehicles, but what about water? What would you like to see at sea?
Well, a lot of people are like talking about islands and stuff. I don't know how possible that is in the current engine, but well, in the current map, I mean. But yeah, I would like to see rivers, and I think it would be awesome if you could go with a boat on the river and just cross the country. I think that's awesome. I think maybe Dayz misses a nice river, but on the other hand, we will get more maps regarding that. I'm sure someone will make like an island map, like the 50 islands or something, and we just have to survive on the water, like Waterworld. That would be awesome.
Oh, good lord. Now, Yachi also comes in with another question. What are 3 things you love to do? Hobbies, work, stuff, etc., not counting gaming and Dayz?
I think I like to play guitar. I like to go to restaurants. I like to
Yeah.
work in the house. I think I said everything already. The things that I
Yeah.
currently like anyway. Editing videos. But I guess computer didn't count, right? I actually
Yeah.
like to read a book, but I'm not getting a lot of time for that lately. I listen to podcasts a lot. That's how I came up with the idea for Altercast.
Podcast.
It's a podcast FT and I have, yeah.
Amish Z says, Renee, I love the new video too trusting. How do you maintain such a friendly and patient playstyle? I find myself thirsting for blood if you've just been betrayed or have been playing for hours without anything interesting happening. Also, do you ever RP when playing Dayz? It seems like it would fit your playstyle.
Well, I guess I don't like it when I'm being betrayed. Obviously, sometimes it really frustrates me. Sometimes I exit the game and I don't play anymore for that day. I guess, a little bit like everyone else. I'm a little bit more mellow in my response, I guess, than most people. Maybe a lot of people just plainly rage, right?
Yep.
But it depends. Sometimes I just restart the game, and other times I just don't play anymore for that day. And other times I just find like in that video too trusting. I get betrayed a couple of times within a couple of weeks, right? It's not all the betrayals. I had more of them lined up, but I think these were the most fitting ones. But for that video, I also find like feedback from all of you guys. We were like, "Oh, Renee, it's okay. There are still friendly people out there," and all the comments, they lighten my mood. But obviously, it's so frustrating because if you're editing, you're watching the same footage over and over again, and you see yourself making the same mistake again. So it's basically you're literally like painting yourself by doing that. So the comments help a lot with that kind of stuff, and they're always very friendly. So that's cool.
And do you ever RP yourself?
Not really. I just try to be myself in the game. Some people would say, okay, Renee, RPs, but just in the normal Dayz with other survivors, right? But I don't RP into RP servers or something. I like the no rule concept and not so much the RP with rules. Servers with rules, don't like them so much. I think that defeats the purpose of the game a little bit.
Winterfell Williams kind of tacks on to the previous question as well, where he says, do you find yourself, your patience wearing thin with the constant backstabbing from Bambis and younger players?
Well, I think backstabbing in general is just stupid. If it's Bambi or a younger player, that doesn't matter to me. It just happens. Everyone can do it. It's I don't really judge if someone's a younger player or not. I think that's mean to do. That's a little bit like discrimination, maybe. But on the other hand, they seem to do it more often. But I try not to judge it. I'm probably like more on edge. I like try to watch out a little bit more. If I hear in someone's voice, like you often hear it in someone's voice if they're being genuine or not. I think that's more of it, more like it. I don't get so tired of it. I mean, I think it's their loss, right? They could have had a nice adventure and they just backstabbed someone. Well, good on them.
Now, that thing you said about with the voice, I've got a theory here, and I think that's one of the things that upsets you the most about Danny Boy, because I would trust him based on his voice.
Yeah.
He comes across as such a nice, genuine, friendly guy.
Yeah, but on the other hand, he's up to something. He just stands still. He's too relaxed, right? So I think if you would watch it, no one is that relaxed in Daisy. So he's up to something. I guess it works for him. I guess if I wouldn't know him, it probably would work with me. I actually met him in game once.
Yep.
He was up to something else, I think, but he was already doing that series by then. And obviously I knew his voice, so I called him out.
That would have made for an interesting video. Okay. Yeah. Cam Can't Run comes in with a question. Question for Renee. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I think I really like the 28 Days Later kind of movies.
Yep.
Those are awesome.
Zombie apocalypse sort of ones.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Marbo516 comes in with, Renee, what do you not want from base building?
Skyscrapers. I don't want people to buy high in the sky and make unrealistic bases. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Okay, Yachi Abinai comes in with another question. What do your friends and family and relatives think about you playing video games and about streaming/YouTubing?
Well, then they're not really into it. They don't really get it, I guess. They know about it. Sometimes they ask me like, "Are you still doing that YouTube stuff?" So I don't think any of my friends really watch my videos. Sometimes you hear a friend like, "Oh, I watched this video of you. I watched." And then, like, for example, the journey through the forest, right? I asked someone the other day, someone came to me, a friend, and he said, I watched your video the other day. I asked him, what do you think of it? I don't know. I didn't watch it. So they're not really taking it so seriously. I guess as they're also not so into the game. I guess that makes sense. And my parents were pretty interested in the face reveal I did the other day. So that was, they pretty much liked that. I think they thought it was cool.
I have to say I loved your face reveal, mate. It was just classic Renee. It was awesome.
Thanks. Glad you like it. I'm glad I actually got really positive responses on that from a lot of the people. So
you awesome. Should, mate. It's amazing. Poprek comes in with a question. My question to Renee, will you turn into a no-life just like me when beta arrives?
I don't think so. I mean, I will play a lot, but I play less than I used to be honest. So I don't think that will happen, especially because I'm very busy with work and that kind of stuff, and I'm not, privileged to have this kind of income at the moment. Maybe if I would go to Twitch, but I'm not. I'm never going to Twitch. I'm just a YouTube kind of guy, so I'm just going with that.
The last question from a viewer is from the guy that I have literally had wet dreams about the pair of you teaming up. Any ideas who that may be?
Frankie on PC? No, I don't know.
Vigilante Gamer.
Oh. Yeah.
I literally have wet dreams over the idea of you and him having a run together. I think it'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to be. I'll have to see, I guess. I'm sure it will happen one day.
It's pretty hard at the moment because he is tied up with his police academy stuff. But one day, I keep my fingers crossed that it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But his question to you is, it's a bit of a statement, but also a question. Seems really fashionable to shit on Dayz and Bohemia Interactive at the moment. Even the free game Argo is being judged negatively before people play it. Do you see the situation the same way, and what are your thoughts on that situation?
Do you mean that? Does he mean that people just the fact that people shit on the game before they have even played it or something?
Yeah, like the initial statement seems really fashionable to shit on Dayz and Bohemia
Mm.
Interactive at the moment, and then he mentions, for example, the free game Argo is being judged negatively before people play it, and he wants to know if you agree with that and what's your thoughts on that situation.
Yeah, of course it happens. So people do shit on the game and before they play it, and Dayz has become a meme in Dayz subreddits like PC Master Game and that kind of stuff. And a lot of YouTubers at the moment, bigger YouTubers, they're making negative videos about it. Uh, they make like thousands of videos, and then suddenly they decide, oh, I'm gonna make a video about Dayz, and it's negative, right? I don't really, I hate it obviously because Dayz can be an awesome game. I think I think the only thing that can happen is that the Dayz developers, they just need to deliver in the end. I think that's the only
Yeah,
thing that can fix it. And on the other hand, I think content creators, and especially YouTubers and Twitch, not so much, I think, but especially YouTubers, they can generate like more depth into the game by going story wise, making story based videos, and just having adventures, like Frankie on PC, right? I'm not watching his videos anymore. I don't like his stuff anymore, but I think like if people have genuine adventures and just they can just try to twist it in a specific story with base building in the future, maybe I think that will be the basis of people coming into the game and having that same and want that same adventure. I think that's
yep.
and the diversity, right? People will play some sort of battle royale of Dayz mod when modding comes out, so more people will come to that part of Dayz, and that will always happen. That's already happening. There are already servers that having tents with full of
Berezino Madness or whatever it's called.
mega gear, yeah, and they're just like uh, they revert back to the same state when the tents were full, and the same thing happens over again. So I think that's always that part of Dayz, but I think the content creators, it's also up to them to give the game more depth. I think that's very important.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with you. I think there's still a lot of people out there who haven't heard of Dayz, and when they do, it's going to blow their mind that there's a game where there's literally no end game. Appeals to
Mm.
some people, it doesn't appeal to others. Like you mentioned that, I think it was the Master PC Gaming interview. I listened to that one as well. I just don't think those guys get Dayz the way that you and I do, and people like us, where there's more to it than just, they were comparing it to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's like chalk and
Mm.
cheese. They're two completely different games. The only thing they've got in common is guns. Um,
Yeah, and if you
completely
compared it
different.
to have your facts right, because that was also a thing. Some things it was just wrong. At some point, they said, for example, that Dayz changed 2 times from engine, and that's just
Yeah,
false, right? At least prepare your stuff, because that's not
yeah.
what they did.
It
You can have
frustrates me.
opinion about it. I mean, everyone can have an opinion about it, but I think it's just important to not spread misinformation. If you see misinformation, then send them back to the right information. Also, a lot of
Yeah.
misinformation comes from Twitch, like reactions, right? Like the chat. People
Yep.
are just asking questions in the bigger streams. Like Lyric, for example, when he's playing Dayz, did you read the comments? It's like ridiculous what people are asking and telling about the game. And there's always one guy in there that's trying to tell the right things, but there's
Hmm.
just a lot of people that are saying otherwise, and then there's
Yeah.
just so much misinformation. It's really crazy.
Final questions, my friend. When will we see guests on Altercast? Two people I'd love to see is obviously the Running Man and Brian Hicks. Is that ever going to happen?
Not as for now, I think, because I'm kind of following a concept of just having me talking to FT and talking about the game, and having this familiar voices. Like always, if you listen to Altercast, you can always expect to hear me and FT talking. I think that's a very good thing about the current way. And, it makes sense. It might make sense to get some other people in at some point. But as for now, I don't have that planned. I think you're doing a great job having interviewing people, So
thank you.
You should probably ask Brian Hicks for an interview at some point.
He just did that one with Pit Stop. So
yeah. Well, sometime in the future, I'm sure he will. He will be up for it.
Yeah,
but
maybe closer to beta release.
I'm not shutting it down. I'm just not now, right? We'll see. It isn't in my plan, but it could happen at some point. Maybe, probably not.
Now you say you play like you would in real life, which is nice, but you do die a lot. Does this make you question that belief on how you approach people?
Yes, I'm always questioning myself. I think that's why I still play the game. And obviously I fall a lot in the same routine. I still die a lot. I think that's not good, right? I should survive. But but I try to adapt when I play the game. Like, obviously I fall a lot in the same routine, so I'm obviously not doing a good job at the moment. But I think I should be more careful, and I should be more on edge, and I should probably shoot faster. But it's also it's just one of my downfalls, right? It's not there. But I will always, I think it's important that if you see a guy, I make the choice. Do I interact with him, or do I just watch him, or do I just run the other way? I will do that as well if I need to. Some people, they just shoot everyone they come across, or they always engage in a way. But just as easy, I run away if I don't feel safe enough. I run more away than actually talking to people, because I don't trust them. And
which obviously doesn't make for a great video, so we generally don't see that, how many times you
you do see away. That. But, in the end, the story needs to add up. And if it's not like a story, then it won't go in the video. But if it's actually a story, it might go in the video or not, depending on which moments of my adventure I highlight and whatnot.
Okay. Now, you sort of touched on this before, but what's your issue with Twitch? I, for one, would love to see you streaming on Twitch. I think you would be partnered in no time. I think there are plenty of people out there who would love to see you streaming on Twitch, but you've said that you're a YouTube man. So what is your issue with Twitch?
Well, I just always, when I go to Twitch, I feel like a stranger. I feel it's a stranger to me. And I often watch Running Mans and FT, and I'm not there every day, but I'd rather watch an edited YouTube video than someone streaming live on Twitch, I guess.
Yep.
And I'm still often watching, because often I've watched all my videos or that kind of stuff, or I just looking forward to interact with people live. I guess that's why most people actually watch Twitch. But it's very easy to. I don't like the video playback of Twitch either. So the clips, I often someone puts a raw clip somewhere in, and I'm like, this 30 seconds too long, and I want to skip forward, and it stops playing. I'm like, why does it stop playing on me? I just don't like the Twitch playback, I guess.
Okay.
And for the rest, I again, I don't see myself so much as a streamer. So I have streamed on Twitch in the past, but I'm just not so into it. When I'm stream, why not stream for my YouTube audience? Why should I go to Twitch and stream there if I have a YouTube channel with 10,000 people subscribe to me?
That
it
is
just seems a
one
little
of the
odd
most
to me.
logical answers. I didn't expect it to be that logical, but that makes complete sense.
It's also because I don't stream as often, right? If I would just be streaming, I would probably go to Twitch, but I'm not streaming so much. I'm just streaming sometimes. I try to stream a little bit more often because people do like to watch me stream sometimes. But yeah, people should just, if they want to watch me, they should be subscribed to my YouTube channel and click that bell button so they get notified. Because I'm also not streaming on a schedule or something. So it's more like a surprise stream often.
Now, I see you're quite active on Twitter. You're generally commenting, liking, sharing, retweeting, and everything like that. And I see that you quite often chip in when there's some rather contentious stuff being debated, we'll use the word, on Twitter. And how do you stay out of all the drama? That's the one thing. It's like you're Teflon coated. It never sticks to you. You know, you can jump into the middle of the most vile argument between people, and I think you'll know some of the examples I'm referring to where people are really getting quite nasty, and you're like a breath of fresh air. You walk in there and you just kind of like tell everyone to go and sit in their corners, and it astounds me how you can do it.
Well, I don't think that's the reason, but sometimes there's just conversation. I should probably stay out of them, but I also can't because I love the game too much, or I care too much about the different people, and I just try to be logical about it, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I think that's also important. For example, like I've given some negative comments on Silo. If he, I don't know, I don't remember, but like something he did, right? But it doesn't mean I don't like Silo. I mean, if he has a good video, I will just like him and I will share his video. But if he does something stupid, I will just call it out because I don't think that's fair, and I don't try to hurt him with calling it out. I just say like, this is maybe stupid. And to be honest, I try to stay out of most things, but sometimes I can't just contain myself, I guess. And you can also see that probably on Reddit sometimes. I get in too many discussions. Like in the end, you read it back sometimes, and then you're like, does it even care? Does anyone care about this comment?
Renee, like for a lot of us, when we comment, we can really upset people. It just seems that, I hate to say this term, but it's almost like you're the Jesus of the Dayz community. Everyone looks up to you. No one seems to get offended by stuff you say. I think most people, when a comment is made by Renee, when a comment is made by Barely Infected, people know it's not a personal attack. You've just got that good of a reputation in the Dayz community. I don't think I can name a single other person in this community who has the same reputation as you. And I mean that with the utmost respect for the reputation you have in this community, mate.
Well, thank you. I don't know if that's justified, but I do appreciate it. I just really like the game, and in the end, we're all playing a video game. There is no room for drama. There is enough drama in the world. Why have drama in a fucking video game? It's just
exactly. We do this for fun. We don't do this for stress.
Yeah, of course. And if you don't agree with something, just step away. Maybe don't respond to it. I'm always for, fighting the good cause, but sometimes you just need to step away.
Next question I have for you is, again, this is a bit of a it's turning into a bit of a I love Renee session, but why don't you have 10 times the subs you have? I find your content to be some of the best on YouTube for Dayz because you're doing stuff that isn't just about the PvP. It's about the interaction. It's about the, at times you're like a voyeur. You just got some absolutely fascinating content, but it just doesn't seem that you resonate with the audience. I want to know why you think you don't have 100,000 subs, 50,000 subs.
That is a very good question. If I would know myself, I would probably adapt my style to
But would you honestly
make it happen. Well, I would, if I knew what I could do better, obviously, I'm, if someone has tips for me,
do better if you want subs. You could be like Deadly Slob. You could be like the Running Man. Create more action-based content because that seems to be the numbers. But would Renee really do that?
Well, I have action videos on my channel. It's just not only action videos, right? So it's just a matter of perception, maybe. I'm not an action channel. I will never be an action channel.
No, I didn't think you would be.
But on the other hand, it's also about, people, it's also about YouTube. It's not solely about my videos. It's also about people who have a nice channel layout and they are into the community a lot. And I feel like I can improve on interacting with the people that actually follow me a little bit. I mean, I'm very interactive on Twitter. I'm very interactive on Reddit. I try to answer a lot of questions in the YouTube comments as I can anyway. I can't do it always, obviously. I try to respond to emails if people send them to me. I don't do it always again. But, I try to be responsive anyway. But sometimes it's just, a lot of people, they play with their fans. And I don't do that so often, mainly because of time restrictions. I mean, I have a full-time job, I have a girlfriend, I have a new house. It's just there is little time to do anything else besides me just having another adventure and just playing the game, right? That's something I could improve on and maybe also get some sort of a new channel design, staying true to the current logo because I do really like it.
There you go. If anyone's got any ideas, feel free to email Renee.
I guess so.
But now, how long do you think Dayz is going to survive?
Well, after release, it's going to survive for maybe 7 years.
Yep.
I guess so, because it will survive as long as patches are being made by the developers, and they would say they would support the game for another 5 years after release, and releasing new patches and content and that kind of stuff. And I think if they do that well, Dayz will easily survive 5 years after release, and probably even longer than that, because Dayz mod is still being played at the moment.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to people thinking about buying Dayz?
Experience the game alone. Don't watch too many streamers. Don't watch too many videos. Just go into the game without any previous knowledge and experience it. It's a very hard thing to do. If you have a couple of questions, go ask them to someone. But then also when you have these answers, just pull back and just get into the game yourself. Be lost. Don't use the online map immediately. It's awesome to be lost in Dayz.
Yes,
that's something that the veteran players will crave for. They want to be lost again in the game. I think that's also why people are looking forward to new maps and that kind of stuff. So I think that's one of the best things you can do, because you will always remember that experience you had the very first few times. It's also, I think, Dayz, you play it a couple of times and you like it or you hate it. So it's a very tough game to get into. So don't give up so easily, but learn from your experiences as well. If you die, learn from your mistakes. I think that's also important. What can you do better next time?
In your opinion, is Dayz going to be the game you hoped it would be when you first heard about the standalone project?
I don't know if I had a decent opinion about it back then. I was just very hyped about it, I guess. I didn't even understand the first time I booted up the game that you could actually raise and lower your weapon with space. I just didn't understand it. What is it? What am I doing? Why is my flashlight pointing at the ground all the time? What do I need to do to fix this? It was a completely new game for me, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I just remember to be really, really excited about it.
And you're still excited?
Yeah, I am still excited. Yeah. I mean, we've just had 0.62 patch with the new trees and the new ambient sounds and that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, definitely. They really undersold it to us, I think, that patch. And
it was probably the smartest update they've done.
Yes. And I hope they keep doing the video. Yeah. And I hope they keep making those status videos and doing like a launch event, that kind of stuff. I think that's really awesome. That kind of stuff. Generate some hype around your patches. And when the game is finally a little bit more stable, I guess, release patches every month or every 2 months. Just keep it stable.
What you were just talking about then comes into something you and I and FT were discussing in FT stream the other night. They're doing a pretty good job, in my opinion. I'll say a pretty good job of marketing to the existing community. I want to see them do more in the way of marketing to the broader community, the potential customers, the customers who bought the game and uninstalled it. I want to see them getting out and doing more interviews, just promoting the game more to the broader community. As we get closer to beta, they need to start combating some of the negativity that's out there about Dayz, like you mentioned in streams like Lyrics.
Yeah, but I think they can only do that if the game is in a little bit of more of a stable state, right? I don't think they can do that too much right now. That would be silly to get people back right now into the game. They're just going to be frustrated because they expected the game to be complete and the game isn't complete, right? I don't think they can, they can market it right now. It doesn't make sense to me. You can already create a little bit hype around the patches and just tell what's new, but not too much, right? That's exactly why they did it.
It's kind of like to me though that they're a boxer who's standing in the ring just getting absolutely fucking pummeled while they just got their guard up and they're not doing anything try and recover the situation.
Yeah, but in the end, they're going to make the opponent tired, and in the end they're going to fight back, but the time is not there yet. They need to wait until the time is there, until the opponent is tired, I guess, until they're themselves in a better state.
I just don't think this opponent will ever get tired, though. The haters are always going to hate.
That's fine, as long as other people get to see a better Dayz experience. After launch, it's also going to be like the count, like the opinion on Steam. They're all going to tag as early access opinions, right? We're going to have a new review mechanism. And maybe it will stay mixed or negative or something. Who knows? It doesn't matter too much as long as enough people play it. And, it will get more people with modding. A lot more different people will come in and they play the game. And maybe for the wrong reasons, but more people will play the game. And in the end, the normal game, it will also get more attention. And I think that's still very important about Dayz.
Now, the final question. What can we expect from you in the future, my friend?
Like I said in my Q&A video the other day, I will start focusing more on series, because I think that's where the future of Dayz videos lies, at least for me. I think that series are just very important, because every time you make like a one-off video, that's cool, but you don't really give people a reason to come back to your channel. So I think a series is important.
Yes.
So you get.
I couldn't agree more, mate. A couple of standouts for me is obviously Frankie's series that he did. Mr. Blackout's Diaries and his hardcore series were phenomenal. They stick in your mind when it's really well done one.
Yeah, and I think for me it's very important to stay genuine and just be me. I think that's enough. And
I don't think anyone wants you to change, Renee. I think we all love you just the way you are, mate. You're Teflon-coated Jesus of the Dayz community, mate. Everyone looks up to you. Everyone respects your opinion, and I don't know if anyone out there has got a bad word to say about you. I certainly have never heard a bad word about you, and I would never say a bad word about you, because you're just an amazing person, mate, with a great outlook, such a positive outlook. Which I can be a bit of a negative Nelly, particularly like we were just talking before about the marketing side of things. But you always seem to have a positive attitude towards nearly everything. I'd hate to be around if you snapped. I reckon you'd be an absolute crazy man.
I don't know. I don't think I ever will. I'm pretty patient. Thank you so much for the kind words, Boydie. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. You're a very nice guy yourself.
Thank you.
I really like watching your spotlights. What I want to say maybe is about negativity and positivity, is that negativity is just not very constructive. It doesn't bring you anywhere. And I think it's very important to have at least like some positive thoughts about anything, right? So if you're a bit in a downfall, you just think, how can I improve, and just highlight the small things about your day and just improve how you are and who you are. And it's easier said than done, but negativity is just not very constructive. And I think that's important in everyone's life.
Couldn't agree more, Renee. Renee, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me today, mate. I really enjoyed putting the spotlight on you. The next spotlight we're going to be doing is on the fantabulous Twitch couple, the one, the only, Mr. Blue and Queenie. The promo video for that should be up in the submission link on Reddit. So if you have a question for Mr. Blue and Queenie, please jump online and lodge your questions there. Renee, I think you've lodged a question for every single interview so far, haven't you?
Sorry again?
You've lodged a question for every single interview so far, haven't you?
What do you mean by lodged? I don't understand what you're saying. Can you rephrase it?
You've submitted a question for almost every interview I've done so far.
Yeah, not everyone, but almost everyone, yeah.
So I look forward to seeing what you're going to ask Mr. Blue and Queenie.
Oh yeah, I will. I think they're pretty cool. I played with them in the community event, and also when 0.62 was released, I met them in the game, and they're very positive. So I'm looking forward to that interview as well.
Excellent, mate. Look, once again, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.
Thanks, Boydie.